My mom thought it would be sweet to share our old family albums at Christmas, but when my fiancé saw them, he froze. "Please tell me you see it," he whispered. I shook my head until he pointed. My stomach dropped. 5 hours later, I was giving a statement to the police. It all started last Christmas at my parents' house in suburban Ohio. Picture this: a dining room table covered in mismatched holiday napkins, my mom humming Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas" like it's her job, and my fiancé Lucas sitting next to me, probably wondering why he agreed to spend the holidays with my dysfunctional family. I brought him along because he's my rock. Quiet, observant, the kind of guy who notices the smallest details, like when you've had one too many glasses of wine or when the cashier at Target shortchanges you. I thought he'd keep me grounded. Joke's on me, I guess. Dinner was the usual: dry roast, sharp ravioli, and that undercurrent of tension nobody acknowledges. My sister, Nina, was there, swirling her wine in some beige outfit that probably cost more than my car payment. Her boyfriend nodded along to everything like he was auditioning for Supportive Partner of the Year. My parents smiled like they meant it, but I've known those smiles my whole life. They're the kind you put on for company, not family. Nobody asked me about my job, my life, or, anything. That's normal for me. I stopped expecting them to care years ago. This time, I timed it. 9 minutes before they acted like I wasn't even there. After dessert, store-bought pie, because mom's not about to bake, my mom did her thing. She clapped her hands, all dramatic, and announced, "I brought out the photo albums," like it was a surprise and not her annual tradition, planned with the precision of a military operation. Every Christmas, she drags out these dusty albums from the hallway closet, acting like she just stumbled across them under a pile of dish towels. And we all play along, smiling at the same faded pictures we've seen 100 times. Nina leaned in like she was watching the Oscars. Her boyfriend baked interest. Lucas, he just sat there quiet, his hand resting on mine under the table. The first album was the usual: birthdays, beach trips, me in braces, looking like I hated the world. The second was all about Nina, baby photos, mom glowing, dad beaming like he'd won the lottery. Then came the third album, me. That's when everything changed. I wasn't even looking at the photos at first. I was watching Lucas. His shoulders tensed, his eyes narrowed like he was studying a puzzle. He's a graphic designer, so he's got this thing where he spots flaws nobody else sees. Bad crops, weird lighting, you name it. He flipped a page, then another, and suddenly his hand squeezed mine so hard I almost yelled. "Don't you see it?" he whispered, his voice low, urgent. I blinked. "See what?" He leaned closer, his breath warm against my ear. "How can you not see it?" I looked at the photo he was staring at. Me, maybe 6, in a pink coat, standing in front of a stone wall. It was familiar. One of those images burned into my brain from years of mom's album ritual. "What?" I said, confused. He didn't answer, just kept flipping pages, smiling and nodding at my mom's stories about how I once tried to feed a pine cone to a stray cat, but I could feel it. Something was wrong. My skin felt like it was on backward, my ears ringing like I just stepped off a roller coaster. I leaned in and whispered, "Lucas, what's going on?" He shook his head, barely noticeable. "I'll explain later. Just go along with it. Go along with it." If I had $1 for every time I've heard that in my life, I'd be retired in Maui. We left 20 minutes later, Lucas making up some excuse about an early flight or a late Zoom call. My mom fussed, my dad shrugged, Nina didn't look up from her phone. I kissed everyone goodbye, my smile plastered on like cheap wallpaper, while inside, I was unraveling. In the car, Lucas reached into his coat and pulled out a few photos. I hadn't even noticed him take them from the pile next to the albums. "Look," he said, handing me one. It was the pink coat picture. "Okay, it's me." "So what?" He handed me 2 more. "Same face," he said. "Same angle, same smile, same shadows." Look closer, I looked, and then I saw it. It was me, but not me. The same exact version of me, copied and pasted into different scenes. One in front of a fence, one by a swing set, one at a fountain. The expression never changed. Not a single muscle. "They reused my face?" I said, my voice sounding like it was coming from someone else. Lucas nodded, his jaw tight. Then he handed me another photo. A baby, pale, with light hair and a different bone structure. "That's not you," he said. "I don't think they ever had baby pictures of you." The last photo was the kicker. Me, mom, and dad in front of some old building. My outline was fuzzy, the shadows all wrong, like I was a sticker they forgot to peel off completely. I stared at it, then laughed. Not a real laugh, just that broken sound you make when your brain short circuits. "So, I'm a collage," I said. "That's fun." Lucas didn't laugh. "Why would they fake this?" I asked. He didn't answer, neither did I. 5 hours later, I was on the phone with the police. Here's the thing about denial. It doesn't just break, it leaks, slow and steady, like a pipe under the sink you pretend isn't dripping. I sat up all night, those photos lined up on my nightstand, staring at them like they might fix themselves. They didn't. My face was still there, pasted, triplicated, frozen in an expression I didn't remember making. That baby still wasn't me. The lighting was still wrong. And then it hit me. Not like a thunderclap, but like a whisper I couldn't unhear. I had no idea where I came from. I don't have memories before I was 5. None. Growing up, I thought that was normal, or at least explainable. My parents always said it was because of the war. You were little, they'd say. You were traumatized. The brain protects itself, and I believe them because what's the alternative? Telling your 2nd grade teacher you think you skipped being a toddler? My first real memory is standing in a fluorescent lit hallway in an immigration office. Mom telling me to smile at some guy with a clipboard. The light buzzed, everything felt cold, and I didn't understand English yet, but I knew the look in her eyes. Perform. From there, life was normal-ish. We had a little apartment, I started school, mom packed my lunches with perfectly folded napkins, no notes, just napkins. Dad read the paper like it personally offended him. They worked hard, gave me what I needed, but love, that was for Nina. When she was born 2 years later, the house lit up. Suddenly there were baby books, camcorder tapes, scrapbooks with glitter letters, birthday parties with matching themes, spa days, hugs. I got none of that. They'd say, "You're strong, Isabel. You're independent. You never needed much translation. We didn't give you much." I told myself it was because I was older, the first kid, the one they were still figuring out. But those photos, they told a different story. There were no aunts, no uncles, no cousins. No one ever visited from Serbia. My parents said it was because of the war. Everyone was gone, scattered. I asked about family once. Dad said it was complicated. Mom changed the subject. Then there was the Facebook message. I was 15, walking into the kitchen, and there there was Mom, staring at her laptop, hands shaking. The screen showed a message in Serbian, a name I didn't know, hearts in the text. Her face was blank. She deleted it, blocked the sender, and when I asked who it was, she said, Spam. Spam doesn't make your hands shake. At 17, I was diagnosed with PTSD, nightmares, panic attacks, this constant feeling that something was about to go wrong. My therapist asked about the war. I told her I didn't remember it. She said that was probably why. But now, I think I was scared of her, not the war. My mom. That night, after the photos, a memory flickered to life. A woman, not the one who raised me. She had a softer face, dark eyes, smelled like citrus. I was holding her hand. Then another woman appeared, the one I called Mom. She was younger, smiling like she'd just shown up. The first woman leaned down and said in Serbian, "This is your babysitter." Then another flash, me pulling on a coat, crying, saying, "I want Mama," a hand on my shoulder, tight. "Don't say that again. If you talk about her, you disappear." Those words were buried deep, but they were there. I don't know how long I was on the kitchen floor, gasping, palms pressed against the tiles. Lucas found me, sat beside me, didn't try to fix it. And then, in the middle of that panic, I called 911. "I've been kidnapped," I said, my voice barely mine. The operator was calm, asked if I was safe. Lucas took the phone, explained the photos, the memories, the abduction 25 years ago outside the US. They logged it as a welfare check, said an officer would follow up. The next morning, an email. Case file open. 2 days later, my parents showed up at my apartment, Mom holding a bag of carrot soup like it was a peace offering. "We spoke to the police," she said. "You filed a report." I nodded. "You should have come to us first." I almost laughed. "Would you have told me the truth?" They admitted it. I wasn't theirs. My real mother was young, couldn't care for me, begged them to take me during the war. "We rescued you," Dad said. I didn't buy it. "Tell me her name," I demanded. Mom hesitated. Dad rubbed his face. "Mara Petrovic," she said finally. No address, no contact, just a name. That night, Lucas and I searched. Mara Petrovic wasn't unique. There was a florist, a gym teacher, but then I found her. A Facebook profile, no smile, just a woman in her 50s with my jawline, my eyes. "She looks like you," Lucas said. "No," I said, "I look like her." We sent a message, robotic from Google Translate. "Hello, I was given your name. I think I might be your daughter." She replied the next morning, "Can we talk?" We set up a video call. Her face appeared tired but unmistakable. She stared, hand over her mouth. "I've been looking for you for 25 years, she said. "My name wasn't Isabel back then. It was Milena, after my grandmother." "Did you give me up?" I asked. Her face collapsed. "God, no," she said. She'd left me with a neighbor for a few hours, came back, and I was gone. She searched everywhere. Police stations, camps, shelters. She'd been approved for a U.S. resettlement program, but after I disappeared, she was taken off the list. That's why they took me. I was their ticket out. The photos? They faked them to make me fit, to erase my real life. We pressed charges. It didn't go to trial. Immigration fraud, falsifying documents, child abduction. They were deported, their American citizenship revoked. Nina stayed. She's not my sister by blood, but we're closer now. She knows how I take my coffee. Mara, my real mom, moved here 6 months later. She works at a bakery near my apartment, and she's on the guest list for my wedding to Lucas. The people who raised me, they lost everything, and I don't feel guilty. They built their life on a lie. Me, I'm finally free. So what do you think? Did I go too far? Not far enough? Let me know in the comments.